It's May 14. Good morning and welcome to the Morning News. This is the first bulletin of the day right here on TV3 on New Day. My name is George Quinn. This bulletin is coming to you live from the news app here at the Sawikand. On Facebook, we're live on TV3 Ghana on DSTV's channel 279. Top of the stories are: Attorney General commences prosecution against former board chair of Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, Professor Ameya Okunfi, in the failed SkyTrain project. Governance expert says absence of 3 leaders in the country is an administrative oversight which must not be repeated. And in business, RCD marks 60 years of existence. Bank of Ghana launches national campaign to reflect on local currency checkered history. And on the foreign front, Donald Trump and Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman signs largest defense sales agreement in history. Well, we have details of these stories and many more coming up in the next 20 minutes. If you spend your time with me, you can also get interactive with us. We're live on Facebook as TV3 Ghana. And now the Accra High Court has granted a bail of 50 million cedis with 2 sureties to the former Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund CEO, Solomon Asamoah. He was pleaded not guilty to causing financial loss to the state, dissipating of public funds, and conspiracy to commit crime. Also charged was director and board chair of the GIF, Professor Christopher Ameya Okunfi, for causing financial loss to the state.
When the case was called, lead counsel for Professor Christopher Ameya Okunfi, the former board chair of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, notified the court that his client was absent due to a medical emergency. Aaron Sasu explained that Professor Okunfi had been detained at the hospital and thus prayed the court to defer the plea of the second accused until he recovers. In response, Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Remsai, leading the prosecution, admitted that the defense lawyers had informed the investigators of his predicament. He posited that prior to his unavailability, the former board chair of GIIF had successfully cooperated with the investigators handling the matter. The presiding judge then directed for the plea of Solomon Asamoah, the first accused, to be taken. The ex-chief executive officer of GIIF pleaded not guilty to causing financial loss to the state, dissipating of public funds, and conspiracy to commit crime. His lawyer prayed for a bail application, citing that, among other things, Solomon was the primary caregiver of his 90-year-old bedridden mother. The prosecution did not oppose the bill, but prayed that the court vary the bill terms involving the sureties. The judge then granted the former Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund CEO a bail of 15 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. The court ordered that the sureties justify the bail bond with the landed property. Deputy Attorney General Dr. Stremsai noted that the prosecution is open to accused persons refunding misused funds after a plea bargain request.
I think we are on track when it comes to the recovery. There's no better way of recovering the money than voluntary recovery. So if the people are willing to give us, we will take it. But that is not to say that you can keep the money and then serve jail terms and go for it, because there is an active process. The Attorney General has instituted an active process of recovery, tracing these monies. So I would say that whether you do it voluntarily or not, we will do whatever it takes.
As part of his bail conditions, the former Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund CEO, Solomon Asamoah, is to deposit both passports to the registry. He is also supposed to report to the invigilators 3 times a week, namely Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. The case has since been adjourned to May 20, by which time they are hoping that Professor Christopher Okunfi would have recovered and then his plea will be taken. We'll see how things will pan out from then onwards. Lodi Dwasari, TV3 News, Accra High Court.
Well, let's still stay at the court as lawyer for the immediate past director of the Signals Bureau, Samuel Atachian, has noted that his client will not hold back on diverging national security matters to defend himself. Kwabena Dubois has been detained again after the Economic and Organized Crime Office, Yoko, rearrested him over new charges separate from his case before the High Court. This again is Lodi Rasare's report.
Presiding Judge Nyadu Nyante directed that the bail conditions of former Signals Bureau Director Kwabena Dubois be reinstated after he served the 7 days on remand with the Economic and Organized Crime Office. But lawyer for the Signals Bureau Chief, Samuel Atachia, drew the attention of the court that his client had been detained by Yoko on a separate matter which was not before the court. After proceedings, Atachia, speaking to journalists, highlighted circumstances that led to Kwabena Dubois writing a memo detailing some classified expenditures he did during his tenure as Signals Bureau Chief.
The counsel for the former Signals Bureau Director, Lea Atachia, indicated that his client is not afraid to divulge national security matters once that will gain his freedom.
He has no choice, because why should a man be found guilty when he's innocent and when he's dealing with national security matters? So when a man is faithfully helping national security to have the sanity of the nation, why should he go through what he's going through? I thought national security will look into these matters and probably have a good conversation with Yoko and the Attorney General that they are treading on slippery slope.
The prosecution has been directed to file their witness statements and then the disclosures and serve it on the defense counsel. The case has since been adjourned to May 26. So when we come back on that day, we'll see how things will move forward from there and whether the new charges against the former Signals Bureau Director will be put before the court. Lodi Rasari, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, let's know what you make of these developments panning at the court. We're active on Facebook as TV3 Ghana. Engage us with your views and opinions, and we'll surely read them and share them to the rest of the world. And now a potential constitutional crisis has emerged following a power vacuum at the highest levels of government as the President, Vice President and Speaker of Parliament were all absent from the country simultaneously. Associate Professor at the University of Ghana School of Law, Professor Kojoya PhD Tuya says this breach of Article 60 of the 1992 Constitution reveals a serious oversight in leadership succession protocols, raising questions about the President's failure to properly delegate authority before traveling.
Definitely there was a version of Article 60 in this context because there was a vacuum, a presidential vacuum. The President is out of the jurisdiction, the Vice President is not available on a medical leave, and then the Speaker also has traveled out of the country. So certainly a vacuum was created. Before the President would have left the country, he should have entrusted the presidential baton to the Speaker of Parliament to hold the fort. And when he was also leaving the country, he should have handed the baton to the acting Chief Justice to act in his stead until any of the three leaders ahead of him would have returned. And so in this case, a vacuum was created. And that vacuum is serious enough to have caused some constitutional crisis. So it is negligence on the part of the President or any of the, especially the President, for not making sure that things were in place before he left the country. It's a little bit problematic. When you are talking about the functions of the President, especially in this technological age, there are a number of situations where the President can work outside the country. We all know you can be, as a lecturer, can be teaching in South Africa, US, anywhere online, and that is perfect. So it can be done very well. The President can attend cabinet meetings and so on while he's out of the country. So we should be able to demystify that idea that the President has to be physically present in the country. But as it is, that is what the law says now. So in that case, by being out of the country, that vacuum was created. And so we need to make sure that going forward, maybe there will be a decision that will vary.
In more news this morning, government is affirming its resolve to clearing debt in the energy sector intimating substantial payments will be made by the end of 2025 or early 2026.